So as we spoke about earlier, our show last week was not able to air.
But we did talk to Dr. Laura Saunders about a very important and timely topic, and we thought you should see it.
Take a look. Because of the pandemic, our children have been spending a lot more time at home and a lot less time socializing with friends and peers.
Because of that, many of them are at a deficit when it comes to social skills. Dr. Laura Saunders is joining us now to talk more about that. Boy, this is a big problem, Doc.
Happy Wednesday, all. Yes. So I think, you know, as we unfold and with a vision to the future, we take a look at what's been happening. And one of the things that I think is concerning especially when we talk about children, maybe not so much adolescents, but definitely children, is really kind of the lack of social connectedness. You know, what used to be 100 little social interactions in a day, when you were in school, is now like maybe a dozen. And socializing outside of your family is also, you know, almost non-existent in some cases. So the other concern I have is really how masks have hidden our emotional expression, right? So, I mean, it's not uncommon even as an adult that someone comes up to you in the grocery store and you're like, uh-oh, I'm not sure who this is. Yeah. And because we don't recognize them, they have a mask and they have a hat on, and oh, yeah, bam, it's Scott coming up to say hi. But, you know, for the most part, it's getting harder to really recognize emotional expression.
So what do we do about this? Because I think some people might not be realizing, you know, your kids are sad because they're not seeing their friends, but you're concerned they're actually missing some important milestones because we learn just by being around other people.
Right. I mean, you know, you don't sort of come out of the womb and then really understand how to socialize. There's a lot of reciprocity. There's a lot of connection. There's a lot of, you know, how do you develop empathy? You develop empathy by recognizing how someone else is feeling, recognizing how you might feel in a situation, and then extending some care and kindness. But if we can't even see, you know, how people are expressing themselves, we're going to have to get a lot more explicit. I mean, there's kind of 7 core emotions: joy, surprise, sadness, anger, disgust, contempt, and fear. And there's facial expressions that go along with that. So if we've had a whole year and maybe even more of missing this, we're going to have to do some extra work with our kids around teaching them emotional expression and recognizing emotional expression.
Do you think this was even a problem before COVID hit, with the kids burying their faces in their iPads and their telephones?
Clinically, I do think it's been an emerging problem. I work with teens and young adults, and most of them don't even know how to make a phone call.
Exactly.
Right? They don't know how to actually interact with someone via the phone, how to have a greeting, how to wait for the other person to respond, because you're just so used to texting. So has this been an emerging issue? Absolutely. But I think COVID and some of the masks have just made it worse.
Well, we talk, you don't always know when someone's wearing a mask around here in the studio. We're like, I'm really smiling. I swear I'm smiling. Get up. But what do we do? You have some solutions that may not be as good as the real thing, but you have some advice for parents.
Well, I think let's start with modeling emotional expression as adults, as caregivers, as guardians, as if you get to see your grandparents, to really model emotional expression. Boy, I feel really sad today because of whatever. You know, to really kind of talk about that openly, which really means that you're labeling how you feel. So in some of these interactions with the people you actually do get to interact with, label those emotions so that kids get to see, oh, wow, she was sad and her shoulders were kind of slumped. She was leaning forward. So they get to pick up on some of the, you know, the body cues that give out also how someone is feeling. Really talking about it openly with your kids. You know, how did you know your friend was sad? How did they look? What did they say? What was their body like? So it's becoming more aware of whole body language as a form of communication.
And what is this? Teach emotion words to children? Is that all a part of the process?
Yeah, I mean, it really is about teaching your kids how to identify how they feel. So I feel sad, I feel okay, I feel happy, I feel I feel angry today. I feel tired. You know, it's really teaching them how to express themselves. I'm really trying to move away, not just in clinical settings, but in all settings, of people saying I'm okay or I'm fine, because they're not very descriptive of how you feel, but really helping people understand and identify more specifically how you feel and putting a label to it.
That's funny, because when I say I'm fine, that means get out of my way. And that everything is going to hell in a handbasket.
Right.
How are you doing
so
today?
It's not a very
Fine.
descriptive word.
Yeah, I'm fine, Kara.
Yeah. Or you're saying, or we don't have much time left, but some good idea that this is the best we can do right now is even letting, if you're getting those emotions with your kids where they're always saying I'm angry or I'm sad or I'm bored, even validating that that's sort of normal right now, but at least they know what they're feeling.
Yeah, as much as you can, help your kids identify, even teens. Teens, you know, don't always do such a great job identifying how they feel, but it starts with us as the adults. I feel sad, I feel happy, I feel good today. I feel good today because of this reason. So it's you know, as much as you can as adults, model emotional expression and model using words to describe how you feel.
Thanks,
Dr.
Doc.
Laura.
I feel that this is the end of the show.